Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Rick Alberty. I'm the Executive Director of ChamberSOUTH, and today we're here for another edition of ChamberSOUTH Spotlight. And I have the honor of my good friend Danielle Dubuc here with us today. How are you?
Hey, so nice to see you, Rick.
Great to see you, my friend.
Thank you so much. This is such a cool invitation, so I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So tell me, who is Danielle Dubuc?
Ay, Dios mío.
Ay, Dios mío.
Right there.
Right there.
I'm a mom of two. I am a hard worker, and I represent Fútbol con Corazón, FCC USA, which is a nonprofit that uses soccer to prevent and solve the community problems or world problems. So our mission is to move children from trauma to triumph using the power of play. So that's what, Danielle in a nutshell. I mean, there's other elements, but that's basically it.
But Danielle, FCC, that wasn't the first thing you ever did, was it?
No.
No, right? So what led you to that?
I think what led me to, since I was a teenager, I've spoken this in the past, like my childhood was not probably the nicest, even though I know my parents loved us and everything, but you live through certain things that kind of make you aware that, there's certain things that kids are going through, and then there's maybe a lot of neglect or abuse, and there's not enough protectors. And so when I was a teenager, I met a mentor, and this mentor was incredible for my brother and I. He invested so much time through after school hours. And so since then, there was like a before and after, and I decided I want to study education and psychology and dedicate my life to something that I'm passionate, which is advocacy, anything, studying or preventing childhood trauma, and more systems of prevention rather than looking for ways to solve something when it's too late. So I've always been in this ecosystem in different modalities. And then FCC just came because I had admired and studied the founder for a while already. He's an incredible person. And I had admired his model of social impact organization, how he built it. He built it where it was scalable. The model was very easy to replicate. He had built something sustainable, which was cost efficient, and something that was high impact, which is measurable. So I was like, okay, this is amazing. And one day I don't know how, but one day I would love to work with his organization, like in the organization, because I believe in it. And I researched about it. And years later, probably like 9 years later, the opportunity came. I wasn't even looking for it. It just, he told me like, he was like, why don't you apply? We're going to open here. And I'm like, no, I'm not ready. I don't even know how to write grants. Like, I know grants, but like, that's not my thing. Like, I don't like,
sure.
I don't like, so there was a lot of like personal development because I was very insecure about certain things. I was like very comfortable with community and engagement and programming, but not like maybe, finance. Like if I have an Excel sheet, I see squirrels. So like, I'm like, no, exactly. I don't want to be admin. So he's like, no, but just do it. You learn by, getting in the pool. You learn how to swim getting in the pool. So it was kind of to get to that position, executive director has so much responsibility, but it was the best thing ever. It's a blessing. And I get to work with a beautiful team of individuals. And I think that's like, other than transforming the lives of kids and youth, just working with the team is probably one of the most rewarding things.
That's amazing. It's amazing how what happens or what we learn as a child, some things can steer you in a certain direction later in life. One of the things that I was talking about in the last session was that to the young folks out there, where you start in life doesn't mean you're going to end there in life. Mm-hmm. You got so many different paths throughout the life that you really don't know where you're going to end. So where did you first learn about Fútbol con Corazón? Here in Miami?
No.
South America?
I went to
Central America? Yeah. Where?
That's a great question. So we're now in 7 countries, but the first one was in Colombia. And I first of all, I was never athletic. People always think like, oh, FCC, you must be soccer star, soccer professional. I'm like, oh, please. I always say that they would call me Butterhands because I was never athletically coordinated at all whatsoever. I think that was something that kind of marked me because my coach he would joke, he's like, stick to dancing, Danielle Dubuc. But and he didn't see it in a mean way. He was loving, but he was a little bully. And so I internalized it and I was like, yeah, I probably suck at sports. I'm never going to do it. But because I always saw in my friends how they would play sport and their self-esteem, I was like, this is so cool. Like, I wish I would be in some sort of sport. And I always miss that teamwork, that being part of something. I don't know. I always felt like that would be so cool, but I just didn't win the genetic lottery, whatever. And then one time this was years ago in 2011, 12, I did a missions trip in Colombia and I passed by a little place that said, FCC Fútbol con Corazón. And I was like, what is that? And they're like, oh, you don't know about it? And then they told me about the story, the founder. And I was like, okay, wait a second. I need to research. So one day I went to visit from afar. I didn't like introduce myself. I just went to observe like the program. And I saw the coaches and I saw the methodology. I was like, whoa. Mind you, I already knew about programming and I had, studied education. So I was like, okay, this is different. This is very intentional. This is not just a sport. This is a transformative. There's something embedded in the curriculum that is extremely intentional to making that child feel seen, heard, validated, and some sort of dignity, regardless of the talent, is that kid belongs there. And maybe that's the space that the kid is going to have throughout the day, that he's going to be in this special loving environment and also discipline. Like there's some sort of structure because you want to have both. You want to have the loving, this is, we love your authentic self, but there's also structure and there's also expectation. So you want to have that marriage. And I saw that and I was like, okay, then that's where I said, I want to be part of this. I don't know when, but I would love to be part of this. And I never vocalized it. I only said it to one person, but that was it. But then I went to like LinkedIn. And so I was, hey, LinkedIn is always great.
And in Miami, well, it's not in Miami. It's really everywhere in South Florida. Am I correct?
In Broward,
even though
and Miami-Dade.
You're in Broward and Miami-Dade, because you live yourself in Broward. Am I correct?
I used to live in Miami for 20 something years, and then I moved to Broward just 4 years ago.
Okay.
In the Western area, and I love it, and I love Broward. I have more reservations with Broward, but the people are not the same. My heart is in Miami.
Okay.
So, and our office is in Miami. So, but we serve
so you
both.
do have an office in Miami?
Yes.
And do you have an office in Broward?
No, it's by North Miami Sunny Isles. That's our office. And we serve much more Miami-Dade than Broward. Like we are more in, probably I would say 80% Miami-Dade, 20% Broward. And then we are opening in other places too.
Okay. Is your program only run from the office?
No. It's after school programming. So it's like on the field.
School,
after school.
Field. It's
everywhere.
It's in many different locations.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The way we do it to make it cost efficient, which works, is like we don't want, like parents don't have time to be driving their kids. That's kind of a luxury. We do free after school program. We don't charge a dime for uniforms or anything. Free after school program for children. We know that soccer here is kind of a luxury and it shouldn't be. It should be. It's the most, cost efficient sport there is. And it's the most flexible. You can play anywhere. Just take the little soccer goals. You give it 2 trash cans and you're going to play it. You just bring the ball and that's it. So what we do is that we connect or partner with schools. They already have the children there. And let's say they want to optimize their after school program. So we go there, we take all the material, the coaches tend to be hyper local. So we have coaches that are from, Little Havana or Homestead, which they were raised there, educated there. And then they understand that specific demographic because we don't want there's a disconnect. And then we just stay there for a whole year and we take the data. Like before, we measure the child's self-worth. We measure how they feel in their resiliency. Do they feel part of the community? Do they feel that they have a purpose in life? We measure all those things depending on the age. And then we track it so that we can measure show the impact to the partner and to stakeholders, etc.
I got several questions. number one, your coaches, are they Miami-Dade teachers?
So no,
So they're volunteers?
No.
Wow.
We don't do, not that I'm against volunteers. It's just that model doesn't work when you have volunteers, because volunteers can be, their availability can shift. So no. Actually, one of the biggest, I would say, pillars or blessings of our organization that we've had is that we have a youth internship or youth leadership program. And the way we do it is 50% of our group, of our staff, are the same participants that started years ago in our program, just receiving the after school program. Then they they graduated from high school. They go to FIU in the morning. They're studying law, sports management, physical therapy. And in the afternoon, they're coaches and giving back. They're paid coaches. Like they're trained
coaches.
They got
by FCC.
Educated, certified. We've taken them. Oh yeah, there's professional development, capacity building. Like these are the same ones that started years ago. And so to see the full circle is probably one of the most rewarding things in the team. Because we have a coach that comes from the foster system, like didn't have any parents. And now he mentors fostering, like he teaches kids in the foster system. And so for him, that's like one of the most rewarding things. And there's so many stories. So I believe it's a testimony of what a program with intention and an amazing ecosystem can do.
That's incredible, because once you see an individual go full circle like that, they participated in the program early in life. They've learned everything about the values and really the structure of FCC, and then they've go to school and then they volunteer or get paid, because I'm going to assume you also have volunteers as well.
Oh, we have some volunteers.
But to teach the way you need the program taught,
right,
you have to be able to pay them.
Yeah.
But you mentioned earlier that the students, there's no cost to them.
No, there's no cost.
No cost to them. And you're still paying for not only the program, but you're also paying for some of the teachers as well.
Of course.
Where does all that money come from FCC?
So that's a good question. So we try to diversify and not become codependent to one source of income. The way we do it, again, to be cost efficient and sustainable, is we will ask commissioners, like local commissioners where we're serving, for CBO funding. We will do local grants. So we have the support of U.S. Soccer Foundation, the Children's Trust in some of the locations. We have, Laureus International. So we have different grants or, companies that support us. And for example, the corporate soccer tournament is exactly like, we don't have a gala. We don't have a gala. We try to shy away from the charity model, which is perfect for many nonprofits, but we try not to go that route. So we do the corporate soccer tournament is the event that we do every year, and we're going to the fifth event this year. It's at FIU. We're super excited. FIU Soccer Stadium on April 17, and that's like our biggest celebration. So we bring all of the private sector that has been supporting us. So we're in the private sector, the media, so Miami Community Newspapers. We have elected officials. We have the kids. Some of the sites, we bring them over. So we have a kid station. It's a big celebration, and they all have to play. Like the companies, like let's say, so it's the Amazon Cup. They're the title sponsor. We have Valley Bank, FPL, and they come and play. They bring like 30 of their team members with their soccer jerseys and their logo, and they come to represent the company. However, they sign a contract where they pledge that not only are they going to score gold and try to win, but they have to play under the FCC values, meaning they have to show honesty, respect, solidarity, and teamwork while they play. Meaning they will be reviewed for every game, and there's no referee.
They're going to be judged.
Oh, yeah. There's no referee. So they have to solve their own problems or conflicts. They have to solve them. And the coaches that we have there are just facilitating the discussion, but they took the pledge, and there's like a scoreboard where they promise what it is. So for example, respect. Okay, how are you going to show respect to your opposing team, to the playing team?
Exactly.
Well, we're not going to say curse words. Okay, so then write it on curse words. Hey, soccer, eso se pone caliente. They start getting crazy. You know how it is.
This is an emotional
regulation. So it not only is like this is a beautiful event, not only because you're creating social impact, like the companies are giving back. It's also like a networking event, but it's also a team building event. Because after that, we've had so many testimonies of like CEOs or different C-suite leaders coming like, hey, I've never played with, like, I didn't know half of the team, we've never played together. We never are together. We're always like in a Zoom meeting.
Office or Zoom.
And we learn how to actually communicate better. We were like lifting it. For example, solidarity. Like, how are you going to show solidarity? So they'll pledge, well, if someone from the opposing team falls, or our team will stop the game and pick them up. So these are really cool things. It stays with you. And most of the teams that play, once they play, they come again. They want to play again and be part of it. So
that is fantastic. Really I had no idea that that's the way it was.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a great message. When is that again?
April 17th. You have to be there.
And where is it at?
You have to be the MC.
Where's it at?
At FIU Soccer Stadium.
FIU Soccer Stadium.
5 p.m. to 10 p.m.
5 p.m. to 10 p.m. So it's a networking opportunity,
yes,
team building opportunity, a great opportunity for the students as well. Yeah. Are a lot of the students there?
Yes. So we bring some of the students and then they show their testimonies. So we're going to have testimonies. Every year we have 2 testimonies of one of our youth leadership coaches or one of the kids that went through the program and they want to share the experience. Just so that people understand that we're not behind creating Messi or Ronaldo. Like, talent is great. We're not against it, but that's not our end goal. Actually, 2% of people in sports, whether it's travel sports or recreational, only 2% make it to like high level. The rest feel like, well, all this sacrifice, all this time for nothing. I'm not good enough, because unfortunately in the US, there's a culture of overachievement, overperformance, and then burnout. And then like, no me siento adecuado. I'm not good enough.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a counterproductive effect. So what we're all about is, let's bring play back. Let's bring the joy of playing. Intrinsically. We're not trying to get into a squad. We're not trying to be the superstar MVP. It's just the power play. There's so much data between kids that have experienced trauma and the kids that you put them to play. Kids with ADHD, kids with oppositional defiant disorder, like labeled like that. Kids in the spectrum. The kids that the teachers are like, I know, we can't stand them. He's like, you don't bring that kid to us. And you see the difference with time, what play does with a curriculum that is extremely intentional, and the coaches are aligned and trained and informed of like, this kid, we're not going to take it personal. He's being a little aggressive now. Those kids end up being the biggest cheerleaders for the rest.
See, that's amazing. What a beautiful story. The change that you can see, especially in our youth. Well, I asked you about the organization. Mm-hmm. I asked you about your coaches.
Yeah.
Where do you find the students? How do you get students to come out and play?
So that's a great. You mean, how do we get the partnerships?
How do you get the participants in after school activities?
Okay, no. So
can anybody sign up?
Rick, that's a great question. You know what we have? We have a waiting list. So that's how crazy. Oh yes, that's crazy, because first of all, our attendance is 99% to 100%. Like, we don't have problems of engagement. It's something we don't have to like. If we do something with parents, we don't have to beg the parents to show up. They will show up. So that's the power of soccer. That's the convening power. It's magnetic. It's organic. It's grassroots. People show up. The different type of ethnicities, races, they show up. With the schools, whenever there's so many schools telling us, can you come? And so we put them on a waiting list. And then once we get funding, then we can go to that school, right? Or once we get a new partnership, then we can get to that school and serve that school. But it's, we wish we were in more places, but it's never the case of like, oh, can we come here? And like, guys, can you show up? Parks are different. Because parks don't have a steady, it could fluctuate with parks.
Absolutely.
But when it's a school or a nonprofit that has a set amount of kids, those kids are there. And so we do only twice a week. And they're like, can you do it 4 times? Can we have it? And we're like, no, we can't because we can't. And we want that scarcity. Los deja picados for the next time. They're like, when are you coming back, coach? And it's crazy what they feel for their coach. Like it's beautiful.
So you talked about any child. It doesn't matter ethnic background. Doesn't matter the amount of income in the household. Does any of that matter at all?
Oh, so yeah. So that's a great question. We don't, not that we're against serving in like certain places, is that we're prioritizing places where we know a single mom cannot afford $200 a month. Think about it. If you can't pay the rent, what's the first thing you cut? You say extracurricular. I can't put him in soccer because I can't. It's too much. So we try to focus Homestead, Little Havana, Alapata, all these Hialeah, all these places. Eventually, when we grow more, then we can reach other places that are maybe more affluent. But right now, we're focusing on in those specific areas. Again, think about this. The iPad, a lot of people criticize, the iPad and kids are only playing video games. But if you think about it, it's a social economic pacifier. Because if I don't have money, like if a parent doesn't have money to pay for after school then they'll give this to a child.
You got that.
And so it's like, well, I'm just, it's kind of like dissociation. It's cheap. It doesn't.
Keep him quiet for a while.
Keep it quiet. And he's there. He's home. It's not like he's getting, outside and then there's like a pedophile. But this could be actually even worse.
Sure.
Because, we don't have to preach to the choir. We already know.
I agree with you 100%, Danielle. That is, I remember the days of always being outside, playing football, baseball, creating eye-to-eye contact, communicating between people. Now it's all this. And, the kids and even the parents giving them the phone in a restaurant so they can be quiet.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. And everybody's doing that. Yeah. So I'm just glad that I'm old. I'm glad that I'm old, that I'm past all that.
Yes.
And, I don't have to go through that, but it's going to be challenging. Yeah. Challenging for the phone could be a good thing. The tablet could be a good thing.
If it's regulated. Right. I'm not demonizing technology. It's a blessing in a way.
The social skills, it affects our social skills a lot.
I would say this is the dissociation era where so many kids they're so used to like getting away from escaping this like an eternal escapismo. And then this is what is the premise of drug usage or alcohol, because what they do, alcohol or drugs, they just either make you feel numb or make you feel alive. You're pretty much escaping reality.
Exactly.
And what we want to teach kids is it's more like embrace your reality. It's tough. It's hard, but guess what? Trauma and loss and pain, part of life. It's part of life. And you as an athlete, athletes, so we use Messi and Ronaldo, they train every day, not because they're not gonna lose. They're gonna lose. They're gonna get hit, but they don't break. They will suffer, but they won't break. So that's one of the key important messages in how mental health should be taught and modeled as a capacity mindset premise, meaning it's a muscle. You have to train for it and you have to get better, because suffering and unfairness is unfortunately, it's part of life. And how do we mitigate it? Yes, but how do we not break if it happens to us? Because it will happen to us. And that's why these programs are so important. I'm not talking about FCC only. I'm talking about like all of them. The after school program ecosystem is so important.
Incredible. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you. You are a miraculous person, always giving back to the community, always caring about what happens in the community and caring about the kids. FCC, if you haven't heard about it, look it up. Fútbol con Corazón. And thank you for being part of Chamber South. I appreciate that so much. Friendship doesn't mean nothing. You don't become part of an organization because you're friends. You become part of an organization because you believe.
Así es.
And what you've done with FCC, it's unbelievable. So thank you.
Well, listen, I have to, let me give you the flowers right now. Porque Ricky he's humble and he doesn't, let me shower you with praise here, because people don't know about this. You were, when I was at the Coral Gables Chamber, you were probably one of the first ones to say, I read your newsletter and you're doing a great job. You barely knew me. You just met me once and you were so warm and like welcoming and amazing. I was like, hey, he's so incredible. Like he has this energy and this, I don't know, like vibe that it's very rare. And then I started knowing you more, and I saw how you were so intentional with people. And I was like, wow, él es como un ángel, tiene un ángel. And then, like, to see you now, what you've done in ChamberSOUTH, oof, I am so proud, even though the drive is a little crazy sometimes for me, but do you understand that I'm so proud of what you have done, like the energy, the charisma, the advocacy you've created, the pride you've created around ChamberSOUTH, that I think it had been lost. And you're incredible. We're blessed to have someone like you in this community.
Thank you, my dear friend.
You like Rick for mayor. That's it. Tú eres alcalde.
Thank you for the kind words, my friend. A big hug to you. You know I love you, and keep doing what you're doing, because everything you do is right. So just keep that up. On 3, we're going to say goodbye to those cameras right there. 1, 2, 3. Bye.
Goodbye.